So, fun fact about me and my coffee. I got lots of mugs. This one used to be my dad's from one of his training squadrons. He's a pilot in the Air Force, so when he passed, I got some of his mugs, and this one and one I got like a really tall one. It's super cool. Two of my favorite mugs, but I don't use them that much because I don't know if you're supposed to use mugs. Like I don't know if these were actually for use or if these are like trophy mugs that you put in the Air Force. If one of you guys are Air Force or you're retired or a veteran, and you have these types of mugs, let me know in the comments. Are you supposed to drink out of these? Were these meant to be drank out of, or were these more like ones that you just put on your desk, like as a display, as kind of like a welcome to the squadron or a leaving kind of thing? Let me know. I'm curious about that. I don't know. For me, I like my coffee lukewarm at best, cold or iced, even better. So this week I have a client, a couple. They're friends, but they're buyers of mine, and we saw they bought a piece of property that was it's up on basically a mountain. And before you totally laugh about that, because I live in Florida, particularly Central Florida, the idea of there being a mountain in Florida is a little ludicrous, I know, but it is. They bought a piece of property that is approximately 320-ish feet above sea level in Florida, which, if you know anything about Florida, I mean, that is a mountain of a piece of property. You could probably see this piece of property from 20 miles away, 50 miles away, if you were just driving around, because Florida is flat. But what's even more striking is when you're up on this piece of property, you see everything. It has got one of the best views, in my opinion, in the southeast, basically because in other mountainous regions, you see from mountain to mountain, or your view is from one across one valley. But because Florida is flat, when you are up here, the position of their house and their backyard where it's going to be, you see it has to be 75 miles away. Everything. And it's spectacular. It really is a spectacular piece of property. And it got me thinking, golly, because I've been looking at this particular area for a long time, my wife and I, about buying some land there eventually. But it got me rethinking about this, and the idea of what caused me to want to be there. And for me, it's the view. For me, I've looked at properties all over the place, beachfront, waterfront, mountainous. I've lived many places in the world because my dad was military. But for some reason, this particular region speaks to me. I love it, and so it got me thinking, like, what in history? This has got to be one of the reasons why we decided to stop being a hunter and gatherer society. So we used to be hunter and gatherers, so we used to be nomadic, where if the climate up north was too cold, we'd migrate with our little tribe to somewhere more amicable for us, or we would follow livestock or animals around that would help feed us, that we would hunt for, but we never really settled down back then. So this has got to be one of the reasons that caused us to stop in our tracks, is you find a piece of property that is just so magical, or something that I don't know. I was looking at this piece of property with them, and I'm going, golly, this would get me to stop. This would get me to stop traveling. I would choose this place to settle, to claim as my own, for it to be my piece of property. And so I was thinking, like, where's the root of real estate? What are some of the other reasons that cause people to stop being travelers or nomadic? And there's a whole series of reasons why someone might um, choose a location to live, and this has to be the same in ancient societies when that progression from being nomadic to being kind of an or agrarian and agricultural society turned in. I mean, either you're stopping because there's a job, there's a trade. You're stopping for health reasons. There might be a reason why you cannot travel or migrate any longer. Just purely out of the pleasure of the piece of property. It might just be such a beautiful piece of property that this is where you want to spend the remaining time you have. My opinion is that the reason why us as a species stopped being a nomadic species and started being a farming or horticultural society has to do with population. When you get so big, as a people group, moving thousands of people around, migrating all the time, has got to be a logistical nightmare. So at some point in time, feeding that amount of people, you have to find fertile farmland. And so I think that's where the birth of real estate comes from. Is once you find enough people that want to or believe in the same values, and you start this little tribe. Once that grows past 2 or 3 generations, you're talking about thousands of people, and eventually you have to start thinking about how do you feed that many people? Where can we stop and settle? And you have to start thinking about protecting that from outside raiders, people that might want to harm you. And there's strength in numbers. And so coming full circle, whatever it is that makes you want to stop, find that. So as real estate agents, I think that it's important that we find out what that is. I think that it's critical to our business to understand what makes you tick. What are you passionate about? What would get you to stop in your tracks, stop being a wanderer, and pick a piece of property? And if you've been in real estate for any amount of time, and you've done the driving thing and you know what I'm talking about. So, all right, so time out. So how many, comment below, I do this it's at least weekly. And I don't know if it's just a characteristic of real estate agents, but I'll get in the car and drive just to go drive. I mean, I would genuinely spend 2-3 hours wandering back roads, going down streets I've never been down, and just to see what's out there, to see what roads go where, why they go there, who lives back there, what type of properties are back there. And you find the most crazy things. I mean, there was this one back road that I went down, and it was just like this random dirt road. And at the end of it, it became this gorgeous paved, all palm tree lined, center median, gorgeous, and a massive gate. I'm talking like double car lane, massive gated community. Probably couldn't, I mean, I definitely didn't get in, but there had to have been like 5 to 10 houses back there. These are massive houses out in the middle of nowhere on a dirt road. You would never drive down there. But if you do that, if you're like me and you just hop in a car and drive around, I want to know, just yes, no, tell me a story, whatever. I'd like to know how many of us agents do this. Is this something that is characteristic of real estate agents, that make us good, bad agents, and that we just like to get in cars and drive and watch things? But anyway, that made me realize what makes me tick. What am I passionate about? What types of houses do I like? What types of property? What do I want? Do I like big oak trees? Do I like palm trees? Do I like grass area, dirt areas? Do I like views, waterfront? What regions do I like? Why are you selling real estate where you are? Why do you live where you live? What type of house do you live in, and why do you do that? Understand that. I mean, and even if it's not where you are, but where is your ideal place? What would cause you to stop in your tracks and go, this is where I want to spend the rest of my time, in this place? And or not, it could be just because of a job, but find out what it is that stops you, that causes you, and take that passion, take that understanding, what you know, and turn it into a niche. We all have to have the diverse real estate, right? So in our area in Central Florida, that sweet spot is about $230,000. That's where your bread and butter in real estate is made. That's what you're going to sell. But for me, I love waterfront properties. I mean, I love them. I would spend all of my time on waterfront properties. And I don't even know why. They don't even have to be luxurious. They could be tiny little bungalows. But for some reason, that's what makes me tick. And so when I go and start doing my farming, or I start looking for listings, or start a campaign up that I want to go and do, get 3 or 4 extra listings for the month, that is where I focus. I focus all of my attention, all of my marketing effort, all of my dollars towards those properties, because when I get to that listing appointment, there's going to be a bunch of agents that are interested in getting the business, right? Especially on waterfront properties in Florida, it's super competitive. But because it's something that I'm genuinely passionate about, and love, those are the types of properties I get there with that seller, and they can feel the passion coming off of me, because it's where I would stop. If I had my choice, I would find a piece of property on water, and I would stop there, and I would sit there on a back patio and drink a cup of coffee and just enjoy life looking at water. That's what I would do. And so they feel that, and I get the sell. I close that listing because I'm passionate about that. That's what would make me settle down and stop doing everything. So find out what that is, and let me know. I mean, I'm interested. I imagine there's probably 60% of people that love waterfront properties like me, which is why it's so competitive. But what is it in your region? What's the big thing? Is it because it's a military location, and there's so much military presence there that they have, influx and outflux every 2 to 3 years? Or is it a medical community where you have, a lot of turnover, a lot of new doctors coming in and out, or something, that causes you to be there, that you're passionate about doing, which is why you live there? Is it just the view? Is it the weather? Is it because it's great land for farming? I mean, let me know. I'm interested in what would make you stop. Why would you stop? I think that's something today we just need to focus on, is from the beginning of real estate, that is why we're able to sell real estate, is because people have an inherent need to stop being nomads and settle down and find a spot that suits them. And I think once we realize that and really let it settle in, our real estate business is just going to become that much more passionate. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow.